when I come on here, I try to get the 3 M's. I try to get mother's, master's degrees, and I try to get married. And when I do so, the answers are exactly the same from the 22-year-old girls with an OnlyFans. It's exactly the same answers. This is my point. It's like, I don't think they're selecting for dumb young girls. I think they're just getting what they're getting.
I have to correct Jesse one more time.
Oh, good Lord. Why me?
Sorry, because you said that Fresh and Fit just get dumb hoes on their show.
I said they get a bunch
every
of
every time this happens.
Were you talking about Fresh and Fit, or were you talking about the video?
Basically.
Both.
Yeah, no, Fresh and Fit does not usually get, no.
The words Fresh and Fit never came out of my mouth. So that's why the podcast
who else?
here.
Okay, so for Fresh and Fit, anyways, they've had, last count, anyways, thank you, Big Mo, 2,132 female guests. Ages range from 18 to 46. From 45 different U.S. states, 61 different countries, with 181 different job titles, including unemployment and 159 Frank Castles.
Frank Castles. There we go.
Also did two panels
Thank you,
with
Big
all
Mo,
women
for
over
your
40.
contributions.
I did 2 panels with all women over 40. I pretty much did
You
the
guys
same
realize
thing.
I wasn't like trying to say you did this or you did that.
We
I said
understand.
most of the podcasts that are floating on the internet.
Well, Jesse, I'll tell you this. Like, so there's 2 issues here. Number one, I don't think it's hard enough to get 10 girls to come on a show. Period. So I don't like to be the idea that I only want young. And I know you're not talking about me, but the only idea that I want young or dumb is not true. The thing is, when I come on here, I try to get the 3 M's. I try to get mother's, master's degrees, and I try to get married. And when I do so, the answers are exactly the same from the 22-year-old girls with an OnlyFans. It's exactly the same answers. This is my point. It's like, I don't think they're selecting for dumb young girls. I think they're just getting what they're getting. Now, on whatever podcast, I will grant you, there's a lot of girls who go in anime costumes who are just there to get fucking attention. I agree with that. Not so much on Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit will have surgical nurses and fucking master's degrees on there all the time.
Yeah,
and
but
so
you guys are studying different topics. You guys are specifically focused on like red pill, blue pill content, and then you bring on women that have never researched these topics. They're not reading the content you're reading, and then you guys make examples of them for views. That's 100% what happens.
I've had a little bit of this anger with him sometimes because I will religiously ask him before the podcast, what are we talking today about?
I'm sorry, I should have sent you the videos.
I do not like walking into a situation where I sound or feel stupid because I can't contribute because I didn't know that this thing happened or whatever it is that they're discussing. Yeah. And he's like, don't worry, just come on. And I am like, no. Absolutely not.
Like we're not sitting here with laptops. That's
the problem, that they have a lot of unaware, uneducated on the topic at hand. Girls come on.
Oh, I agree with that.
And they look dumb. Yeah. And they look uneducated. And they're young. And like it just, you pile on a lot of components where women are being stacked up against.
Right.
And that is what keeps circulating through social media.
Isn't there some
it's
level...
not the clips of the very smart woman having an intellectual conversation with the men.
Where are those?
It's always there's always the clips of the 22-year-old girl. I have had sex with 70 guys this week, and that's what men think of women, and that's what's going around, and that's why everyone is talking shit and saying 304s, whatever.
Why do they get in Why is it you treat them like babies? Like if you know you're going on a podcast, wouldn't you do research?
On what?
Let me
research everything in the world
catalog.
in case I know for sure what they're going to discuss.
It doesn't need to be you have to research everything in the world, but you can get a general idea for a podcast.
I didn't even know who else was coming on the show until.
Let me try this.
Why is that necessary? You can still go through
David,
the backlog of the content.
If Joe Rogan,
understand what they usually talk about.
If Joe Rogan was going to have you on his show, would you do some research before?
For sure.
How much would you do?
A lot.
I would do at least 22 hours of research.
I'll do a week.
Yeah, a week.
Okay.
I would be.
And then you walk on there, and what he talks about has nothing to do with anything that you
But Joe Rogan lets you do whatever you want.
What?
Yeah.
I would be so rock solid when I did whatever podcast. If I ever have to do a debate against Andrew, you better fucking believe. With Destiny, that was 30 hours of research I did before I went up with Destiny.
But you know,
I am never taking a fucking L with a million people watching me. That is not going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like sometimes
it is.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Yeah, Andrew's coming for me.
Well, no,
Andrew's coming for me.
But see, a lot of times it's designed, and I can sort of understand what Jesse's saying here is because I have gone on to podcasts where I have debated like people like Ruslan, for example. It's like there was no topics ever thrown at me for that, and they're saying, well, you should know this and you should know that. And I'm like, well, if I'm on trial. If it's not a debate anymore and it's just like an indictment or just sort of, a witch hunt, well, of course, I'll defend myself as best as I can. But it's like you can study somebody up to a point, but if they're going to say, okay, well, we're not going to talk about anything I've talked about in the past, and we're going to talk about, I don't know, nuclear proliferation or some shit like that, I'm like, okay, well, I'm at a disadvantage here.
But those are the exceptions to the rule.
True,
right?
true.
I mean,
true.
usually that's not the case.
Well,
I
no,
understand you can walk into ambushes, things like that.
Right.
It happens.
Lord knows I have.
Yeah.
Same.
Everybody.
But
has
I will
who's
say
a
this: when I
podcaster.
went on Dr. Phil, I did about 60 hours worth of my homework on that because I knew what I would be walking into on something like that. But if it's something that's a little more casual, where people are saying, "Hey, why don't you come on my show and we're going to talk about this?" I don't think. I can understand how some podcasts it might be that way, like maybe whatever, where it's like The Price is Right and everybody's got a costume on and they're all supposed to look at like, I don't know, idiots or whatever. And I understand that, but that's the thing is that if you know that podcast, you know what you're getting into already. You know that we're all going to wear.
Well, but how do you know what you're getting?
We're going to
into?
look like the Red Bear and
Go study.
Wait, how do you know what you're getting into?
Well, because you have to go and you have to do
because
the
you
background
went,
on
you
it.
did the
Yeah.
research and you figured it right.
Is it worthwhile to do that? And I was going to say, Jesse, I think that was one of the reasons why we started the show in the first place, is because we're not trying to put women on the spot.
Which is what
We're
I said
trying
to you last time. I come
exactly.
on the show with you
Yeah.
guys, not because I'm just his friend for so long, but because you could have a completely different of opinion or perspective, and you guys are not about to make the girls sitting in here feel stupid. We can disagree or agree to disagree or agree or whatever, but you guys don't make us feel bad for it. However, proof in the pudding, as soon as I opened my mouth, the very first question asked, the two of them died laughing. And they thought it was really funny before I could even get my sentence out. There's just a different way to manage how you come across to people and how you treat them. And for me, that's the only reason why I come on here with you
Got
guys.
it. So here's another thing. Like
I didn't laugh. It was just me.
Yeah, I was just
didn't laugh at all.
He's
my
not
apologies.
throwing him under the bus. I have a coaching program, so I have to be a little bit more political. These
Oh, so
guys,
you would be mean to me
these guys are
otherwise.
incredible content
Totally.
creators that don't have to do that. They can sit there and say exactly what they feel. They're not really concerned about sparing anyone else's
One of the
feelings.
things that you're saying is something that I think is a common complaint that women just simply don't get. I was just saying a moment ago that men and women tend to speak past each other. We just saw a video right now where women are like, yeah, men ain't shit. Fuck, we don't need no men. And then you have all these men saying, yeah, we love women. We want to get with women. We need women. Women are hot, whatever it is, right? You see, what happens is you can sugarcoat things and you can put things you can tone police yourself. But eventually it becomes, it's not about the tone, it's about what you're imparting. It's about the content of the communication. It's about the information being related, as opposed to saying, I mean, you can sugarcoat it and make it as nice as possible, but it's still going to punch you in the face, because if it's something that you disagree with that is factually true, then it's still going to have the same effect.
But I think if you, like, for example, you probably have some incredible knowledge that I would find really interesting and useful and probably change my mind on some things. But I think the way you come across is so, like, off-putting, where it's like, I'm immediately defensive. I'm like, why are you being like that?
I can tell you why.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. What I was going to say is, like, I would love to have a conversation with you and listen to what you have to say. But just, it would be nice if you would at least try to do it from a place of education and, sharing ideas instead of, like, slam dunking.
But that's what I've been doing.
That's not how it's being
I
received.
don't feel that way.
No, that's not how it's being received.
Yeah, I don't feel that way.
I could tell you why. I could
That's
tell
what
you
you're saying.
why.
I don't feel that way.
No, I think everybody here at
Look.
the table, I don't know, except for you, I'm not speaking for you.
They don't feel that way.
I promise you that you are definitely coming across as rude and condescending.
Andrew, can I ask you a question?
Wait, before you get to that, so I could tell you why. The reason why I feel this way, because we ain't trying to smash. I mean, I can speak for myself. This is my first time in Vegas, and I ain't trying to hit nothing.
Listen, I've been in the military for a long time. Worked with mostly men.
that makes you like
I worked with mostly men.
No.
Listen, I've worked with mostly men.
Guys, let's go one at a time. Let's go, David, and then Amy.
So yeah, the reason why you feel like, oh, you guys are being rude and stuff like that, because there's not anything, a molecule in my veins, in my bones that wants to smash you. But the type of guys you're used to is blue pill guys that'll say anything to you and pander to you when they see you. Oh, you're gorgeous. You got this and this, the blonde hair, da-da-da-da-da. They're going to pander to you. So you're used to guys acquiescing their behaviors to get inside your drawers.
Amy,
I'm not acquiescing.
Do any guys ever do that? You don't think guys ever gaslight women?
Oh, of course. But here's the thing. I was in the
most
military.
guys.
Let me just tell you. I was in the military for 16 years. Okay. I got treated like absolute shit most of my career. Okay. And I promise you, there were so many men that were incredible instructors that had no intent of doing anything more with me than being an instructor. That's it. You want to talk about leading? then lead by example and give information to women that you're trying to educate or whatever, but do it in an instructional fashion where you're not being off-putting. Do you want to have a war with women? Do you want to be disrespectful to women? Do you want us to not like you? Like, I don't know what your intent is when you're coming across.
That's what I said in the beginning of the podcast.
Guidance comes from a good, kind place.
Let me ask you one question.
Hold on.
Before you,
Guidance
okay,
comes from a good, kind place. And when it's done in a demeaning fashion where it's down, like talking down and being disrespectful and rude, there's never going to be a point where we're meeting in the middle and like I'm even open to receiving the information because it's disrespectful.